Now, do know here on the update we do talk politics and make sure to bring you unbiased information. We're not right, we're not left, we're here. We're your next generation news network, acting as the fifth of state, holding truth to power and informing the public, and simply telling it like it is, so you are able to decide for yourself. So let's go over the rules. Arizona allows any voter to request a ballot by mail. You can also vote in person, and Arizona also offers early voting. You can register to vote at my.arizona.vote/early. Now, for those people who like to vote in person, once you're registered, I know I do, let's go over how to vote in person and where. So to find your polling place, jump on your computer or handheld device and log into my.arizona.vote/where. Click on Find Your Polling Location and punch in your address so that you used to register, and you will have at your fingertips exactly where to go. Now, to cover early voting, if that's your thing, yes, Arizona does offer early voting. You can choose whether to vote on election day or during the early voting period, whichever is easier for you. This can be especially helpful if it would be difficult or not possible for you to vote physically on election day. Now, an important thing to note for those who like early voting. Early voting locations may be different from where you vote on election day. So again, check out my.arizona.vote and you'll find out where you can vote early. Over to you, Daniel.
Alright, now that we know where to vote and how, what do you need to bring to identify yourself? You will need to show ID to vote in person. This is either via photo ID or two non-photo IDs, or a combination of the two. Your ID must bear your name and address. So what are the acceptable forms of ID? First, the acceptable forms are a photo ID, and those include, you only need to present one of these. They include the Arizona driver's license, Arizona non-driver's identification, tribal enrollment card or other form of tribal identification, U.S. federal, state, or local government issued identification. The name and address on your photo ID must match the name on your poll book. Now for the second acceptable form, the non-photo ID, voters must present two of these, and it'll show your current name and address. These forms of identification can be the utility bill dated within 90 days of the election, bank or credit card information, or statements dated within 90 days of the election, vehicle registration in Arizona, Indian census card, property tax statements, tribal enrollment cards or other forms of tribal identification, Arizona vehicle insurance cards, recorder certificate valid in the U.S. or in the state or the local government issued identification. You can also include a voter registration card issued by the county recorder at any mailing to the elector. Any documentation form from this list may be presented electronically as well, such as on a tablet or smartphone.
Now, if you are unable to produce one photo ID or two non-photo IDs, you may show any valid photo ID with an address that does not match the precinct you are registered to, accompanied by a non-photo ID with an address that does match the precinct you've registered to, U.S. passport or passport card without the address, and one valid item of non-photo ID. This could be a U.S. military ID without an address, and one valid item of non-photo ID. So there are a few combinations that will work. Just double check on that website and with your local precinct to make sure. Now, members of a federally recognized tribe may present a tribal ID that does not contain an address or photo in order to cast a provisional ballot. Acceptable tribal IDs include tribal identification cards issued under the authority of the Bureau of Indian Affairs, or a federally recognized Native American tribe tribal enrollment card issued under the authority of the Bureau of Indian Affairs, or an federally recognized Native American tribe certificate of Indian blood issued under the authority of the Bureau of Indian Affairs, or a federally recognized Native American tribe. The voter identification card issued under the authority of a federally recognized Native American tribe. The home site, the assignment lease, the permit or allotment issued under the authority of the Bureau of Indian Affairs, or federally recognized Native American tribes, a grazing permit or allotment issued under the authority of the Bureau of Indian Affairs, or a federally recognized Native American tribe. Now, if you happen to be a voter without an ID of any type, and if you are unable to provide ID, you will still be able to vote via a conditional provisional ballot. Conditional provisional ballots are counted only if you present ID at your polling location before 7 p.m. on the election day, or at the county elections office within 5 business days after a general election that includes an election for a federal office, and 3 business days after any other election. Now, were you taking copious notes? If not, don't worry. This information is available to you to watch and share and reshare on Roku TV and on demand and on your phones at hyfntv.com, the next generation in news coverage. We'll see you in a few, folks.